Hey guys, did you know that most SUVs available today are only with two-wheel drive? Or at most, they only have part-time all-wheel drive. Find out here how a full-time all-wheel drive can help you be safer on the road, especially when it's wet and slippery. Okay guys, so in terms of safety, it looks like the Subaru Forester has met the first three conditions that we talk about, and that is basically the safety features, and then we look at the engineering that went into making the car safe, and thirdly, it is the driving and controllability factors that help to make the car safe. But there is one more factor which a lot of drivers tend to neglect, and this brings us to the core subject for today, and that covers the drivetrain. A lot of guys have actually asked me, YS, do you really need all-wheel drive for city driving? Well, for me, the answer is certainly yes. If there's an option and you can afford it, go for it, man. There are basically three types of drivetrains available, and the normal cars that we know usually have two-wheel drive. Now, two-wheel drive means drive is only to one axle and usually is to the front or to the rear, depending on the car manufacturer's preference. Then we have the four-wheel drive vehicles, and this refers to vehicles that are more heavy duty, like for going off-road or into the jungle or things like that, where you actually have to engage four-wheel drive if you want. So another word for this is called part-time four-wheel drive. Now, a point about this, what you call part-time four-wheel drive vehicles, is the way it is built does not allow them to be driven for extended periods on tarmac, because the way it is built and because of the differential in speed between left-hand wheels and right-hand wheels and front wheels and rear wheels while cornering, it causes a situation called transmission wind-up, and this can actually cause the gears to break. And then we have the third category where the Forester is in, and this is called all-wheel drive, or some people call it permanent all-wheel drive. And this means that drive is given to both the front and the rear axles all the time. So you don't need to turn it off. In fact, you can't turn it off. It is a full-time four-wheel drive or permanent four-wheel drive. So for the permanent all-wheel drive vehicles like the Subaru Forester, they have a center viscous coupling that allows some slip, and that helps to maintain the transmission in good order for many years. Subaru calls the all-wheel drive system the symmetrical all-wheel drive. Now, there's a reason why they call it symmetrical all-wheel drive, because it is simply symmetrical. So with cars that are not symmetrical, that means they have unequal drive shafts and things like that. So what happens is you get things like torque steer. When you accelerate, the car pulls to one side. So with Subaru, it doesn't happen. With the symmetrical all-wheel drive system, Subaru offers double the traction, double the grip, and double the handling. It really beats all those cars that just have two-wheel drive. And to top it all off, the cream on the top of the SAWD or Subaru all-wheel drive system is the active torque vectoring. And what does it do? When you normally corner and you take a hard bend, one side of the car lifts up. And usually in a normal differential, the drive will go to the side that has less grip. Now with the active torque vectoring, the system just channels the drive to the side that has more grip, where it should be, by applying the brakes on this side, and it transfers the drive to this side. Let's say you're taking this corner and you get more positive traction. So at the end of it all, what does it translate? It means that you will have less probability of flying off the road. That's it. So the active torque vectoring, a feature that is actually found only in more expensive cars, is here in the Subaru SAWD. That's what makes it so much better than other all-wheel drive systems. Okay, back to the question of whether you really need all-wheel drive in city driving. Well, for purely safety reasons, you should have all-wheel drive. And why do I say that? And why is that? Because you know, like in Malaysia, the rain weather, it comes anytime, then you get thunderstorms and flash floods, and then the accumulated road grime and all add to the situation, and basically you get what technically they say is a low grip index, which means there's less grip basically. And when you take a corner or when you're overtaking or just driving on the road, the chances of losing grip or traction is very great and we fly off the road. Now, with the Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive system, you get double the grip and double the traction, which means you are likely to be safer. So in a situation where you are driving and you need to take a corner, or you need to brake, or you need to overtake a car, traction is very important, because when you're accelerating, that's when you're going to lose control. Or even if you're not accelerating, if the road is slippery, it's very easy to lose control. So with all-wheel drive system, you get positive grip all the time, and so therefore it actually makes your car a lot safer. So in order to demonstrate this, we have actually put together a little test where we actually simulated rainy conditions, and we put the Forester with its SAWD and another SUV with just two-wheel drive through the same course, and you can see for yourself what is the difference in grip level between symmetrical all-wheel drive versus two-wheel drive. Hi everybody, we are at a little car park somewhere in Serdang, and what we intend to do today is we are going to simulate some conditions where you see the difference between this Subaru Forester's symmetrical all-wheel drive versus this two-wheel drive only SUV of an unknown make. You know, in rainy conditions, that's when a lot of people get into trouble. And as you know, in our heavy downpour, you get lots of standing water, the roads just become more slippery. So what we're going to do is we're going to see when the thing breaks. Yeah, we're going to go at different speeds. So without further ado, let's go do it. So we set up the course using cones for safety, yeah? And we had a water truck with 7,000 gallons of water to wet the track to make it more exciting. And of course you can see the surface is also a little bit loose, yeah? And we're going to run it on this direction, and it looks like a reverse question mark. So the first test is done at 30 kilometers per hour, and at 30, let's see how the two-wheel drive SUV goes through. No problem at all. Yeah, 30 is a very, very slow speed, yeah? Like in first gear. And of course, we also must let the Subaru do the same thing at 30 and see how it fares. Well, no issues at all. Yeah, I mean, I could have told you that, and you could have told me that too. At 30, nothing much happens. Everything is quite safe. So here's the aerial view, and you can see that both the vehicles are about the same at 30. And let's go at 40. So 40 is a little bit faster, 10 kilometers per hour. On the road, in a straight line, it's not very fast, but around the corner, 40 is quite serious. You can see here, the two-wheel drive already is off the road at the second right-hander. And here's the Subaru Forester at 40. It goes through, and it doesn't flinch, it just takes the line. No issues at all. That's at 40. So the symmetrical all-wheel drive really works, yeah? It gives grip to all four wheels, and here is the aerial shot. Here's where the two-wheel drive went off, and the four-wheel drive Subaru makes it. And at 50 kilometers per hour, let's see. Here I am trying to drive through using all kinds of tricks to turn like pendulum and all that, but it didn't work, yeah? The two-wheel drive actually goes off the road at 50, and we have to stop.
Without mentioning names, in case you're wondering why most of the other brands only offer two-wheel drive, it's because it costs more to make all-wheel drive. And Subaru is the only brand that offers all-wheel drive for its entire range of vehicles.
So from the test you can see that Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system really helps to prevent accidents, especially in rainy weather and when road conditions are poor. Well, it certainly seems like Subaru has placed very high priority on safety, and if you look at the packages available on this Subaru Forester, you can conclude that it's one of the best vehicles available in its category. Safety is very important whenever we're on the road. We have to take driving seriously, be in control. And if there's a choice, always choose a true all-wheel drive vehicle like this Subaru Forester. Thank you for watching, and remember, always be in control.